Welcome everyone. Today we are taking a deep dive into two critical pillars of workplace health and management: safety audits and safety surveys. Ensuring a secure working environment requires more than just reactive fixes. It demands structured evaluation, continuous monitoring, and proactive risk control. Throughout this presentation, we'll break down what these processes entail, explore the standards and frameworks that govern them, examine both technical and administrative aspects, and see how tools like safety sampling help us catch unsafe acts before accidents ever happen. Let's get started. Let me share the official definition of a safety audit according to the Indian standard IS 144891998. A safety audit is a systematic process of verifying both the existence and effective implementation of elements within an occupational safety and health management system. Beyond just checking if policies exist on paper, it evaluates the system's real-world capability to achieve our defined safety objectives. Essentially, it ensures that our overall safety structure is not only present and active, but actually functioning as intended to protect our workforce and prevent workplace incidents. A safety audit is a vital tool used by leadership to promote and enforce standard operating procedures across industrial operations. First, it actively pinpoints site-specific hazards and potential risks before they cause harm. Second, it gives us an honest check on whether our safety management system is actually on the right track. Finally, the audit verifies that our existing loss prevention controls, standard work practices, and safety protocols aren't just sitting in a manual. They're properly implemented and actively followed on the shop floor every single day. So why is a safety audit so important? First, it ensures our safety management system operates effectively to protect our workforce, customers, surrounding communities, physical assets, and the environment against critical risks. Think of the audit as an essential operational control mechanism. Beyond risk reduction, safety audits deliver major operational benefits. They uncover clear opportunities for process improvement, boost safety awareness across every department, and build total confidence that our facilities remain fully compliant with all legal and regulatory requirements. Now let's examine the governing frameworks for conducting safety audits. On the national level, we look to IS 14489, the official code of practice on occupational safety and health audit, which outlines 31 core elements and 278 evaluation questions. We also reference OISD 145, which provides detailed guidelines for internal safety audits. Internationally, recognized benchmarks like the British 5-star audit help align practices with global standards. Supporting these core frameworks are broader Indian standards from the Bureau of Indian Standards, BIS, and sector-specific OISD guidelines to ensure complete technical compliance. When looking at execution, safety audits are categorized into two primary types: internal safety audits and external safety audits. An internal safety audit is carried out in-house by our own management team to evaluate routine operations and foster continuous internal oversight. On the other hand, an external safety audit is conducted by an independent outside agency or qualified third party. Organizations often bring in external auditors to achieve formal certifications, ensure unbiased evaluations, or comply strictly with internal corporate management guidelines and regulatory standards. Aspects covered in auditing system, organizational and administration safety policy, operating instructions, emergency and disaster control plan, industrial hazard control like housekeeping, storage of materials, etc., machine guarding, material handling, use of PPE, fire prevention and control equipment provided, maintenance, testing, etc. Aspects covered in auditing system: industrial hygiene, ventilation, skin contamination control, air/water pollution, noise control, etc. Reporting and investigation of accident, type of accidents, procedures of investigation, etc. Based on the image provided, here is a structured breakdown of the audit process. The 4 steps of the audit process: 1. Plan, audit program, auditor checklist. 2. Conduct, opening meeting, auditing techniques, sampling, questioning, probing, writing a finding, closing meeting. 3. Report, review of proposed CAPA, corrective action and preventative action, audit report. 4. Follow-up, effective closure of finding, key audit fundamentals, who does it, auditor/audit team, basis of audit criteria or requirements, purpose, to check compliance, to facilitate improvement, to identify the risks. Outcomes of an audit help distinguish between strengths, observations, weaknesses, risks, and nonconformities, providing a comprehensive view of the organization's safety performance. This diagram illustrates the life cycle of an audit finding, from the initial identification and documentation to investigation, determining corrective actions, applying them, and finally verifying their effectiveness to close the finding. An effective auditor requires a mix of attributes, including generic knowledge of standards, specific auditing techniques, deep knowledge of health and safety regulations, and strong personal qualities like professionalism and teamwork. There are 5 guiding principles of auditing: ethical conduct, fair presentation, due professional care, independence, and an evidence-based approach. Our overview of the audit process. It all begins with planning, defining the program and checklists. Next, we conduct the audit through meetings, probing, sampling, and observation. Once findings are identified, classified, and issued, we enter the report phase. Here, the department determines the root cause, agrees on corrective actions, and assesses risks. Finally, in follow-up, we verify action effectiveness and close out the finding. Remember, during inspections, items are rated from 0 to 4. A 0 rating triggers an immediate work stoppage due to unacceptable performance. Let's keep compliance high. Audit rating scale breakdown 1 to 4. 1. Unacceptable performance. 2. Acceptable, improvement is necessary. 3. Average performance, improvement desirable. 4. Above average performance. Purpose. Safety surveys are conducted to make detailed observations of all types of unsafe physical and environmental conditions. Cooperation. The factory occupier, manager, and workers should provide the necessary cooperation to the authorities conducting the surveys. Training needs. Safety surveys also help determine the safety and training needs of workers, supervisors, and management. Review meetings. The reports containing observations and recommended remedial measures are discussed in a joint meeting with department heads and the plant owner. Remedial suggestions. Remedial measures are suggested for every specific observation noted during the survey. Action plan. An action plan can be drawn up to implement the suggested remedial measures within defined time limits. Technical requirements. Statutory audit/review of records and visual inspections covering machinery safety, safety mechanisms for production machinery, PPE, personal protective equipment compliance and condition, working at heights, fall protection and elevated workplace safety, electrical safety, compliance, insulation, and hazard prevention, work permit system, authorization and safety protocols for hazardous tasks, fire control, fire prevention, detection, and suppression systems, maintenance, routine and preventative maintenance logs and practices, chemical storage, safe storage, handling, and labeling of hazardous chemicals, technical scope and audit purpose, occupational safety, workplace health and hazard controls, environmental protection, compliance with environmental regulations and waste management, hazard identification techniques, methods used to spot and assess risks, e.g., HAZOP, JSA, emergency preparedness, readiness and response planning for potential crises. Definition. Safety sampling is a systematic technique where management observes workers and processes to foster a safer work environment. Core objective. It focuses on identifying, detecting, and minimizing unsafe acts and process errors before they result in accidents. Scope. The provided text serves as an introduction to a case study on implementing safety sampling.